Throughout the journey of life, we encounter struggles that prevent us from reaching our fullest potential. But this does not have to become our reality. Join me as your goal achievement strategist on a life-changing journey as I talk with various guests on how to experience breakthrough and obtain massive success in the 8 dimensions of life. Discover the power of living life purposely, joyfully, and gratefully with the Rise Above Show with Patricia Jo Grover.
I can't wait to introduce you to today's guest. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Patricia Jo Grover, the Goal Achievement Strategist and the Queen of retaking, reshaping, and remaking lives, businesses, and futures. Here with you for the Rise Above Show, where we rise above the challenges that life bring our way. And today I have with me Dr. Pauline Crawford, and she is from Corporate Heart International. She's the founder of that company, but she's also the director of the International University of Entrepreneurial, who just happens to be the sponsor of my show and of my events. They believe in everything that I'm doing within my platform to help entrepreneurs elevate what they're doing. So happy to have you here with me, Doc.
You're watching JD3 TV.
Throughout the journey of life, we encounter struggles that prevent us from reaching our fullest potential. But this does not have to become our reality. Join me as your goal achievement strategist on a life-changing journey as I talk with various guests on how to experience breakthrough and obtain massive success in the 8 dimensions of life. Discover the power of living life purposely, joyfully, and gratefully with the Rise Above Show with Patricia Jo Grover.
I can't wait to introduce you to today's guest. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Patricia Jo Grover, the Goal Achievement Strategist and the Queen of retaking, reshaping, and remaking lives, businesses, and futures. Here with you for the Rise Above Show, where we rise above the challenges that life bring our way. And today I have with me Dr. Pauline Crawford, and she is from Corporate Heart International. She's the founder of that company, but she's also the director of the International University of Entrepreneurial, who just happens to be the sponsor of my show and of my events. They believe in everything that I'm doing within my platform to help entrepreneurs elevate what they're doing. So happy to have you here with me, Dr. Pauline.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, Dr. Grover. May I call you that?
Yes.
And it's absolutely a privilege for you to be one of our PhDs in entrepreneurial. We are delighted to thank you. And it's exciting to be here to talk to you about Corporate Heart International.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. I'm really excited to get this show because I'm going to be interviewing you. But I want the viewers and listeners to know that with the show episodes, I'm going to have the speakers come on and talk about different dimensions of life. So what Dr. Pauline is going to be covering today is from the occupational dimension of life. So we'll get right to my interview questions for her in just a minute. But I'm going to start off with the first new segment I've added to my show is this Grammy doesn't knit, she cliches. And what I mean by that are the words that we use really matter. The words that we say to people as well as the words we use with ourselves. So, Dr. Pauline, is there a phrase or words that were used, when somebody spoke to you as a child that stuck with you? And maybe, what do they mean today in today's society?
Oh, that's a fascinating question. And my childhood was such a long time ago, but it was very influential in my life. And the expression of family that prays together, stays together came to mind. But ours was the family that plays together, stays together, because we had a lot of fun. I was the middle of four children, the third child, two brothers and a sister, and very happy holidays and picnics and tea parties. That was the nature of my first 18 years. And that's why I think I love the idea of authentic harmony, because there was always people and chatter. You know, there was no tea party under 13 people because we had uncles and aunts and that we had play. We literally played games. And I think life is a game.
You know, in that, again, it ties in so much with what you wanted to share with me today. So here we go. My first question is to you, Dr. Pauline, is what is your passion, your purpose, and your vision for women and men? And why are you focused on the workplace? Again, this is the occupational dimension of life. So
Absolutely. Because we spend a lot of time at work, and women now in the workplace, whether they have families or not, so many are working. And so we spend a lot of time, and I think it's time to change the game in the workplace and make sure that we understand all the players and all the players' lifestyles, because a woman's lifestyle is different to a man, as well as their biology, and all the other differences that come in. There's a unifying effect of being at work. So if we take the actual going to work, going to a building, and being in the workplace with our workmates, it's always been a place where people wanted to belong, where they would have their best friend. And that's all changed since COVID. But I think we need to retrieve that sense of community in business and the workplace. And a culture which is harmonious means that all the players understand each other. So it's full of men and women that we understand what is going on between them. And one of the things I think women have brought to the game of business is life, because we don't separate our emotional life and our working life, whereas men do actually have a way of being very separate. They work and then they play. So we're going to bring it together and help people understand that it's a new playground.
right, and men do compartmentalize many things, but as an entrepreneurologist, as we know that life and business coexist and ripple into each other. So I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, Dr. Pauline. And so for our viewers and listeners, make comments, send us comments and have a conversation and join in the conversation with us, because this is important stuff. So Dr. Pauline, another question for you. You speak about building a joint custody world where we all sit around the table. But currently, women are not on par with men. So why do you think this is possible in this day and age?
Well, I do believe that it is possible if we invite ourselves and invite the men to a new table. We do have an issue that the world is created in a certain way over 2,000 years, has been designed by men for men. And women have walked onto this, they've got the vote, we've got into the boardroom. But we know that the majority of women are not in the decision-making business world, but we are in the decision-making home world very often. So why don't we merge the two and not do it as a fight, and maybe do it as a game? And that's where I think women need to be strategic now. And the reason I think it's possible is that, our years of COVID and the pandemic have changed the way things are. We can work from home, we can work hybrid. We are getting further to what we might call a balanced equality. But there will always be a difference, because women have babies, we have families, we have community care, elderly. Men don't always get involved in that.
True.
But what I do find is that the men who listen to this story of a joint custody world built with respect and love and value, they want it. Not all men, but the men who hear about it, they all go, oh, yeah, actually, it's got a greater appeal than equality. So our challenge is gathering the right people to the right table, and maybe at the moment not worrying about the tables where it's only men or there's a fight going on, but start building these tables. So the breakfast table, the boardroom table, the bedside table, the community table. And it's not really just about numbers, it's about the quality of who's there. So one very senior woman I was talking to, she said, I can do everything that a man can do, but I do it as a woman. And that's really important because women nurture, we chatter, we think in multiple levels of tasks and relationships and feelings. And men don't. Men are very compartmentalized. They do one thing at a time, even when they say they're multitasking. They don't do it quite like we do. And I think we don't need to critique men. We need to invite them to this new strategy and be competent, not competitive or aggressive. So that's my mission, is a joint custody world built by actually getting everybody to the table to start the plan and moving away from the past and saying, what would we like best if we sat at the table and started again?
Oh, fantastic. I applaud that, Dr. Pauline. And again, it's all about our relationships, right? Our relationships with ourselves, but also the people that we surround ourselves with. And when we can have that authentic communication, it is so key for being able to evolve and develop those relationships that will help us move forward in personal lives and professional lives. So I applaud that so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So excited. Okay. So another question I have for you. What in your life has led you to desire authentic harmony and to take this into a global business? Because you are global. It's amazing. And how does life come into business when traditionally it has been kind of a block for women?
Well, this is where the continuing conversations about strategic intention, and that might sound a big word for women at home, but women who have lots of children and tasks and things to do, they're absolutely strategic because is Johnny going to school today? Is Mary, does she need another nappy? Do I have to do the shopping? I mean, we have this capacity, and can we write the report? I was listening to Indira Nooyi, who is a very famous top lady at Pepsi, and she was saying, I'm a top woman in business, in the corporate business, but I'm also a mother and a grandmother. So when I walk through the door, life is what I deal with. Now, this is where, with no critique or severely critique of men at the moment, but men lead a different life. And some men help at home, yes, but the majority of men don't necessarily need to do that because actually we're very efficient at being at the home end as well. And one of the things that occurs to me is that if the world has been designed on a square blueprint for 2,000 years, women have now worked on that blueprint for 100 years plus. So we're very clever, and we can work on that blueprint and we can work on our blueprint. So my proposition is that we look at that blueprint of harmony, which includes equal opportunities, it includes competence, it includes business savvy, it includes nurturing, it includes lots more words than has been on this other blueprint. And it's not overtaking the other blueprint, it's actually bringing them together. It's almost like the perfect relationship between the square blueprint and the woman's circular blueprint. And that's what I work with, is getting people to understand that we're not trying to block the past, but we're saying if the past hasn't worked, then we need to have a different mindset for the future. What we do know, Dr. Grover, is that women are extremely good at business and we're extremely good at life. And that is really what we have brought into business. And so we don't want to threaten men. When I started talking about harmony instead of equality, I got very good responses from men. But if you say equality to men, there's a lot of men go, oh, Oh, it's that UN thing, what is it? Whereas if you talk about harmony, men respond very well because harmony is something that is joyful. We want harmony in our family. We want harmony in our music. We want harmony when we're playing. Now, I know some sports are very competitive, but it's the joy of playing the game that makes it work. So I think if we focus on harmony, for me, it came from my whole life, going back to my playful family. And I think the greatest challenge for us today is actually women stepping into that space of recognizing, yes, lots of things have been going wrong, and we do need to deal with the traumas, but we could step into a lead role, maybe like the leader of a horse tribe is the mayor. So it's the mayor that leads the horse community, not the stallion. And I think we need to step into our amazing beauty and be proud of being women who have a very balanced, strategic, competitive competition is molded into love, and a lot of words that men wouldn't normally use on the P&L. But I have this vision, so I'll tell you what, the key word that women have, which men never have, is the word nurture. So we nurture. Some men may nurture, but they won't use the word. But what if you could put that on the profit and loss statement as a value add to increasing your customer base?
Oh, I love it. I love it. And what comes to mind is women tend to use more adjectives when we talk, but also using that mind thought, the same wave of thought is also the way that we can bring light and color and creativity into business. And that works so well with being an entrepreneurologist, because we need to be able to envision what the future is going to be, whether it be in the political climate, whether it be, in just what is going to happen, or be new inventions in the world, or what's going to happen with business. So this is why women can be such a big part of what is happening in the business world today.
Absolutely. And I think one of there's two key players that I always look out for. One is Sir Richard Branson, who obviously is not a woman, but he's very mindful of people. He says, if you don't understand people, you really shouldn't be in business. Now, there are a lot of entrepreneurial men who don't necessarily agree with him, but he's my role model. And my other one is Sarah Blakely, who is a very abundant and energetic younger woman, but she's also very caring of women and men, but she really encourages men, and she makes products for women. And this is not to divide and conquer, but to divide and bless, because we're all different, and men and women are not the same. We bring different parts to the game of life, and that is the magic of differences. It's not the divide that some people see. They divide everything up, but diversity and inclusion is about bringing everything together, but not becoming the same. So we don't want to merge everybody into one. We want to be our amazing, magnificent self.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we need to take a commercial break to hear a word from our sponsor. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Entrepreneurology is relatively a new field of study that focuses on entrepreneurship as a discipline. It encompasses various aspects of entrepreneurship, such as business strategy, innovation, creativity, risk management, leadership, and more. The primary goal of entrepreneurology is to equip entrepreneurs with the skills and knowledge needed to successfully start, grow, and sustain a business venture in today's dynamic and competitive business environment. Entrepreneurology is a discipline that seeks to understand the art and science of entrepreneurship with the aim of providing entrepreneurs with the tools and knowledge they need to build successful businesses. Don't settle for traditional academic programs that don't recognize your real-world experiences and potential for success. Join the education revolution in entrepreneurship today with IUE.
And we're back. So, and again, Dr. Pauline Crawford is the director of the IUE, the International University of Entrepreneurology, who is our sponsor. So it's so cool to have you here with me. It's so exciting.
Well, that is really exciting. And it actually blends into part of my mission, which is we need entrepreneurists who will employ lots of people. So we do have a world of solo entrepreneurs, but when you're an entrepreneurist, you're really thinking about how do I expand my largesse so that other people enjoy that workplace. So this is where it blends into what Corporate Heart is about. Can we create new societies where we've got creative innovation, but we've also got care of people? And sometimes that feels like a different energy, and it comes down to the person and the values and the heart-centered energy we could put out there. So the goal is that we make this a plus for business, because it does make more money. You think about Richard Branson, he makes a lot of money, but he cares intensely about people. So it is possible. Now, that doesn't happen in every company, which is why I'm passionate about women and men in the workplace really having a very good synergy, a harmony, a fusion, an understanding of the magnificent tapestry that we're painting when men and women really are not just in the workplace, but in the decision-making place.
Again, this is so wonderful. And so for our viewers and listeners, if you have any questions about the International University of Entrepreneurology, you can reach out to Dr. Pauline Crawford or myself and to get more information. And so now let's move on to another question that I have for you here, though. You know, what is there? There's a natural flow in the connection of the dots in your life's journey. Does everyone have the same natural talents? I don't believe so.
No, and this is what is fascinating, that for hundreds of years, but certainly the last 100, we've had an education system which has funneled people into certain streams. You've got to be a lawyer or a doctor, or and actually we've all got unique traits. I believe that as we were born, we come into the world with unique traits, and if we're lucky, we get educated to expand our natural trait. That does happen. It's like with Dr. Jim, he was a natural musician when he was a kid, so he expanded that, but he wasn't allowed to take it on as a career. So I think when we find our natural gift, and it might be that we're a great cook or we're a great seamstress, but it's a natural skill. So it's what we do naturally that I think will spin a different way in the world. So as well as being a woman or a man, what are our natural traits? And can we find those out early enough? So I believe that has to happen in schooling. I was not a linguist. I did not like languages. I was really bad at them, but I was extremely good at maths. And I love geography, and I think that's why I like maps and connecting the dots. So not everybody will have a sense of how to connect the dots. But if we find our natural gifts, and that's what I do with my clients and my teams, is how can you then place that into the workplace you're in now? And it might be that it doesn't look like you think it will, but it will be something that if you share it enough, then the boss or the manager or the colleague will say, hey, you're really good at that. How about you do that for this report? Because you're really good at graphics. You've got a natural urge. When you hear anybody say, you've got a natural talent, accept it. Don't reject it. And you see, women have a natural talent overall for nurturing. And I mean, that we also, not all women are the same, and we must establish that there are different types of women, and we will nurture in different ways. And we're not all mothers, and we're all different ages. But there is something about women that is very nurturing. It's growing. We like to build relationships, and that's connecting. I happen to be a particularly global connector. I just love it. I meet somebody and I think, oh gosh, I must introduce you to so and so because I've just spoken to somebody and they mentioned apples and pears, and you're selling apples and pears.
Yes, I know. You've done that with me. Yes, yeah. I'm very familiar. Yeah.
And I think the key point here is that we don't all have to have the same talents. And one of the things I want to do in this joint custody world is to understand that there's a different prioritization, but sometimes men prioritize things that we don't prioritize. So where we might think that having a conversation and chatting is a priority, you may find a man at the table who says, well, I'm done. What's the answer? And instead of saying, oh, he's got to be like me, I believe we need to understand that bullet point man. So not all men are the same and not all women are the same. And by understanding the very tiny nuances, we can actually create this harmony. It's like orchestra. The orchestra does not have all the same instruments.
True.
Normally there's violins, there's percussion, there's woodwind, there's piano, there's, drum. We want all these different parts to come together. So that's what I see in the joint custody world, is we are going to value different qualities, different traits, different natural things. And that's where, as what you said, is the entrepreneurology is about creativity, it's about innovation. And not everybody is going to have that.
No.
Those people who do can create magical workplaces.
Yes. Oh, I agree so wholeheartedly, Dr. Pauline. And what I do as the life success and business coach, working with people, is I help people to find their purpose. Because again, I teach about living purposely, joyfully, and gratefully. If we can live within our purpose, meaning we learn what our gifts and talents are, we learn to utilize them to help ourselves, right? To help ourselves grow as individuals, but grow our business, and then help other people to do as well. That, when you can live in that purpose, it is such a joy and it's such a blessing. That's the sweet spot in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
and it is part of a cultural norm. I think that's the other thing, is that having worked in lots of different sectors and also different nations, I remember in England I would work in the banking sector and then the law sector and then hospitality. Now you have a very different culture when you start working in hotels than you do if you work in the banking sector or any different sector. But people are people. So if you tap into where am I being at the moment, what is the culture here, valuing the protocol, but knowing that people are people.
Yes.
So get to know them, ask the right questions. It's a classic, isn't it? It's not about what you do, it's about what you be. So asking somebody, how are you feeling today? Or how is the day feeling to you? As opposed to, did you get your work done today? Or what are you here for? It's that subtle change of energy patterns in conversations. And that's why I call them magical conversations, because we need to come into that conversation without a judgment. So if somebody says, well, actually, I love knitting, and the boss might think, oh, that's not useful here. But you think, what is it about knitting that is fascinating? It's a very creative pursuit, but it's very specific. It's very technical. There's a process to it. So maybe that process could be applied in the work situation. That attention to detail was maybe a value in a work role. So it's getting people to think differently in a joint custody world, that the orchestra is coming together and there's some new instruments in there.
Oh, I was the information from this, and I really want to point out that we are, as individuals, we are as unique as the iris of our eyes and as our fingerprints. And if we can all realize this, because between those two things and the soul that dwells within us, that spirit that is there, that makes us so, so, so unique. And it can only be beneficial if we can learn those things to be able to share with the world. Oh,
So it's very important that we share them with confidence. Because I
yes.
think, this does occur for men, but a lot of women put themselves down. Say, "Oh, I'm not enough. Oh, yes, I know I can do that, but that's not important." So if we say, like, everything is important, as long as you're breathing, you're important.
Right. And I work with both male and female clients on with just such topics and struggles. So let's move on. I have another question for you. Dr. Pauline, what can each of us do now to make this joint custody world possible so that women are valued as powerful, and also truly female and men are able to, men and women are able to engage in that as the contributors, as competent contributors, without losing one's own power?
Absolutely. And it's very much about belief. We must believe in ourselves. Now, we will have down moments. I'm not saying that, life can be perfect all the time. I'm sure even for you and me, we have our moments and you think, oh, gosh, why did that happen? But to believe in yourself and know it's okay to have a mistake or, have something go wrong. That's okay. But to be honest about it. So authenticity is a really important part of this mission. And we're living in a world which is very disillusioned, and it's sadly full of a lot of lies and violence and terrible things happening. And so it's quite difficult at the moment to be really true to yourself. And I think that's a daily practice. And I know you deal with that with men and women as I do. And I think believe that a joint custody world built with love is possible. And it's not being done by the United Nations or the World Health or governments. It's being done because you step out every day believing that you're part of a joint custody world. So it comes down to simple things like smiling at people that you go past in the supermarket, don't get angry on the roads, be charming when you call somebody. Even if somebody is difficult with you, pause and remember and smile politely and say, that's a very interesting perspective. Brackets, it's not mine. But if we get into anger and remorse or frustration or any of these negative words, the person who's responsible is right here. Remember, whose body did you come to live in today's world? It's yours.
True.
And we know there's a lot of narcissistic, horrendous stuff going on.
That is true.
We need to really believe. And I know I've always been told that I'm annoyingly optimistic, but I'm not going to change.
Oh, me too, sister. Me too. Well, I believe that 80% of success is showing up and being engaged in our lives.
Yes.
It really is true. And we have to believe. We have to believe in ourselves, but we have to believe in the beauty of our dreams.
Absolutely.
And it all goes back to that. So what you and I do tie in so, so well together. So for our guests, my guests, I love to be able to share, a little bit more about where it is that they're coming from and a little bit more about their business and everything. So Dr. Pauline, can you share with everyone what your web address is for your business?
So the business is corporateheartinternational.com. And just to know, I started this in 1999. So it's been around a long time in the UK at the beginning, but corporateheartinternational.com. And I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, so I'm sure people can find me, Google my name. But it's very important to connect into your heart. And that is really the mission of Corporate Heart International. And once upon a time I was in England working in the banking sector. One of the guys said, "Oh, it's a very hippie flower power sort of name." And I thought, oh, I don't think that's true. But everybody has a very different view of life. And that would be one of the things I would say to people is, remember that you will probably be misunderstood in everything you say, but be confident and believe in yourself. And if somebody looks curious or gets angry with you, ask for clarity. Say, did you understand what I meant? Can I just review that again? Or walk away. Don't stay and become battered by somebody else's bad behavior.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Our viewers and listeners, I hope you're listening. And Dr. Pauline, I know you have a gift for our viewers and listeners today. Can you tell them how they can get that?
Absolutely. If they go to that website called www.corporateartinternational.com and look for on the tag where it says ebook, and go into the ebook and find the link, and then put in, when you order that ebook, put in the code ebook 2024. Very easy to remember, ebook 2024, and you will get that for free. And that is the ebook of my published book called The Power of Authentic Harmony. And in there you'll find 5 lessons that will hopefully take you along that journey of believing in yourself and understanding other people are different. I always say your journey of life is understanding yourself. Your superpower is understanding people who are not like you.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you, Dr. Pauline, for being with me here today on the Rise Above show. And for everybody, remember, she said she had that free ebook for you to be able to go download. Well, again, I'm Dr. Patricia Jo Grover, the Goal Achievement Strategist. And I have a free gift for everyone also. If you're in the continental U.S., you can text the word growth, GROWTH, to 26786. Or if you're outside the continental U.S., to 1-866-926-4020. You'll have journaling prompts come to you for the next 30 days. And they will be so beneficial to you in your journey. So I am so happy again to have had you here with me, Dr. Pauline. But I want to tell everybody, until next time, rise above the challenges that life bring your way and have a great day. I have an outro video for you, and we'll see you next time. I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of the Rise Above Show. Life really isn't a problem to be solved, as it is a mystery to be lived. And we need to learn to live it to its fullest potential, living outside the box, not putting ourselves in that box or allowing other people to put us in there and keep us in there. There is no such thing as a box. Find out more at patriciajogrover.com. And I have a gift for you. If you text the word growth, GROWTH, to 26786. And if you're outside the continental US, text